Good morning, everyone. Michael here with another episode of Natural Law on the Go. We've done a great job so far. We've covered a couple really important topics and really often overlooked topics, such as what is the difference between a right action and a wrong action, and, by extension, what are your rights? I'd say 99.99999% of the population has no idea how to actually answer those questions. I mean, if you ask them, what are your rights? Most people will say, in America at least, the Constitution, something about that, or a freedom of speech. Something like that, but nope. Your rights existed before the Constitution was written, and they'll exist long after, because they're not granted by man, nor can they be revoked by man. They come from our status as divine images and free, sovereign human beings. All right, so today we're going to talk about something very interesting. This will be a quick hitter on the law of one. The law of one. What might that be? Well, let me tell it to you in a story. The ancient mystery school traditions from which today's modern religions drew their sources and most of their rituals. In ancient Egypt, they had something called the Kemetic tradition. K-H-E-M is the ancient Egyptian word, what they called their country. It translates to the black land. And so that could mean people think maybe they had black skin, even though it's really a dark chocolate color. It could mean the black soil of the Nile, or it could mean the land of mysteries. I really don't know. But the ancient Egypt, or ancient Egypt, was called Kem by themselves. K-H-E-M. Anyway, in the Kemetic mystery school tradition, so the same people who built the pyramids, or the same group of people, maybe not at the same time, for a candidate who was seeking initiation into the mysteries or the secrets of the universe, who wanted the priest to tell him all their wisdom, they wanted to make sure that they had the right guy and not somebody who would take what they would teach him, which was powerful stuff back in the day, secrets of science, religion, theology, spirituality. When most of the people back then were pretty dumb, they didn't want just anybody having that knowledge. And so, well, we almost had a crash. Good job, Mr. Carr. Good job to me for avoiding that too. All right, so they had one question which they would answer, or which they would ask to the candidate. And that question was, how do you know that you are suffering? How do you know that you are suffering? And I asked that to people today. A little test, and most people like that. I've also heard this is part of the initiation ceremony into the second degree of Freemasonry, from the entered apprentice degree to the fellowcraft degree. Though I haven't read the ritual, so I don't know for sure. That's just hearsay. Actually, most of this is hearsay. I wasn't there in Egypt, but I've heard it written down. So the question was, how do you know that you are suffering? Getting back to the law of one. And the answer to that question was, I know that I am suffering because others are suffering. I know that I am suffering because other people are suffering. How does that work? The law of one states that if other beings are suffering, you yourself are suffering, for we are all connected and we are all in this together. And I heard this explained to me a few years ago, and I really rebelled against it, because it would usually be put forward by some dirty, greedy, schemy politician who'd use it to try and steal my money, or some other bad person who wanted me to do something immoral. Usually somebody in the government, or it's just somebody I didn't like or care for. However, upon further thought, just because the people saying it back in the day were bad people, doesn't make the sentiment any less true. They were just perverting it and twisting it for their own selfish gain. However, I do believe it is true now, after hearing it explained to me by Mark Passio back in 2018, that it is true. As one person suffers, we all are suffering. If everybody is doing well, then we're all doing well. If somebody's hurting, let's say somebody, doesn't have a lot of money or something like that, they might turn to crime. I know that's a really simplistic explanation, kind of like a 10-year-old, a way of explaining it to a 10-year-old. But if everybody's doing well, has their needs met, etc., then everybody else is going to be doing well too. If there's one group of people that's doing great and another group of people that's doing very poorly, then those people who are doing great, they might have some problems down the road from the people who are not doing so great. So what this law is saying is that we need to care about each other as our brothers and our sisters. And I know it's so cliche and religious and used as just a little, that's nice. However, it has a really deep and powerful meaning where we do need to care about the actions we take and the effects they have on other people. If we come out okay, but other people suffer as a result of them, that's like pushing a stack of dominoes one way that's, boom, gonna smack you on the back of the head pretty soon. If you do bad actions, they're eventually gonna come back and whack you. It might take a while and it might not take the exact form that your bad action was, but rest assured it will. So, on the flip side, if we do good actions, then those good actions will come back around and improve our life in the future. It's all up to us. So that is the secret of some of the mystery school traditions, the law of one. As one being is suffering, so are other beings, even though they might not know it just yet. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it here for right now. This dovetails nicely. We're gonna get into what natural law actually is next week. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. This was the law of one, and have a great day. Oh, one last thing. So the law of one, if others are suffering, we are suffering as well. Hearing this is what made me actually get involved and do these type of videos and teach others. Because, I mean, it's not enough for just me to get it. If other people don't get it, I'm going to be affected by their bad actions. By their immoral actions. We'll get into the ramifications of that later. But yeah. Knowing this type of stuff is not enough, and enough to just, live your bliss and just go into, do your own selfish thing and forget everybody else, let them suffer. Put this information out there, hopefully, so that they pick it up and take it into themselves, so that my life will be better too, as somebody who does get it. If I'm, somebody who does understand this in the very, 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 very small minority, but 99.999% people don't get it, then their bad actions are going to affect me. And I don't want that. I want a nice, happy life without pain or fear, as Atlas Shrugged wrote about it. I'm rereading that book. It's so good. And yeah. So if you get this stuff already, please get involved. Help lighten the load. I'm just starting, but other teachers have said that they are working really hard, and it'd make it a lot easier if there were a lot more of us. So that's what I'm doing here, and I hope you join me as well. Thank you very much for watching.